All right, and it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for everyone for joining in today. We're going to be talking about getting started with Aweber. My name is Elisa, and I am a B2B sales specialist here at Aweber. So nice to meet everyone. Feel free to ask questions throughout the presentation. I'm going to leave about 10 minutes at the end there so that way I can make sure that I answer all of your questions. It's wonderful to meet every single one of you. Feel free to go ahead and let me know in the comments box what your name is, where you're from. It's always great to see people from all over, so feel free to chime in, ask questions. And certainly if anything, for any reason I don't get to your question throughout the presentation, you can certainly feel free to reach out to me directly at aweber.elisa, and that's on Skype. You can tweet at me at Elisa Zeitz, or feel free to just send me an email directly at elisaz@aweber.com. I see we have Robin here from Vancouver. Welcome, Robin. Thank you. And we have Sharon and Marlene. Thank you so very much for joining us today. And so let's go over what we're going to cover. The first and foremost thing that we're really going to do once I get out of these slides here is we're really going to jump in and do a real in-depth demo of the entire account. So a few things that we're going to be covering is how you can actually import subscribers without confirmation opt-in. And here at Aweber, I really work very closely with our high volume senders, especially when they're switching over from other email service providers. And certainly this import without confirmation is certainly something that people are really interested in, so that way as you're switching, your subscribers don't even miss a beat. So we'll go over that a little bit more in depth. We're going to talk about templates, integrating with some of the other tools that you're already using for your business. We'll also jump into setting up automated campaigns and talk more about our open API and go over all that fun stuff. So before we dive in too deeply, I just kind of want to take a step back. Again, thank everyone for joining us here. I'm sure that as you're, Googling and you're looking around for email service providers, you see all the glitz and the glamour and the features, and that's wonderful. But I really wanted to take a moment to just really highlight exactly what Aweber is known for. I'm sure while you're Googling, you might find that we are really known for our amazing, incredible, industry-leading deliverability, which is really important, especially as you're getting started with your email marketing. And also we have 7-day-a-week support. And this is something that really Aweber prides ourselves on. We actually offer support Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's by phone, chat, and email. And then we also offer email and chat support on the weekends from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, like I said in the beginning of this presentation, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm always happy to help in any way I can, but also know that we have an incredible support team that's really here for you. So as you're getting started with your journey, you're getting started, getting the automated campaign set up and sending out your newsletters, please know that we're here to help you throughout the entire journey. Okay, so let's just dive right in. I hope that everyone's able to hear me and you're seeing everything properly. Feel free to give me a shout if anything comes up. So the first thing that you're going to see here is going to be the home tab of your account. And really this is just a bird's eye view of sort of what's going on in your account. So you'll see here at the top you're going to have your subscriber stats, and that refers to how many subscribers you've obtained today and yesterday, and also how many unsubscribes you've had. Now this is just part of our demo account here at Aweber, so certainly we would hope that we would see a few more stats in your account. But for demo purposes, we're not really getting any subscribers, and that's fine. We can work on that. I also want to give a shout to anyone that's ever joined our previous webinars. I know that Pat has provided some awesome webinars in the past. Shout out to Pat. I'm sorry if you guys were tuning in to hear him today. He's actually out in Vegas at LeadsCon. So, shout out to Pat, shout out to anyone that's at LeadsCon. And for the few people that just joined us in the past few moments here, welcome. Again, my name is Elisa, and I'm here to help. So, feel free to ask questions, and we'll make some time afterwards. All right, jumping right back in. So, you see the subscriber stats that lets you know sort of what's going on. In addition, you're going to see your recently sent broadcast. And what we really mean by broadcasts are sort of like those newsletters, the time-sensitive information, and we'll get into different messages later on in the presentation. The nice thing that I like about this recently sent broadcast area is you're going to see the two most recent messages that you sent. And what's nice is you can actually see the percentage of opens and clicks and also bounces and complaints, as well as the number. And you can see those stats simply by shifting between the percentage and the hashtag symbol. Scrolling down, you're also going to see your list stats. Now, an advantage of Aweber is that you're actually able to have multiple lists inside of one Aweber account. So, for example, if you run different businesses or you have different verticals as part of your business, this might be an opportunity for you to create a separate list based on a particular vertical or a particular business. So you'll see in my case, I have about 7 lists here. And this sort of outlines, again, what's going on in those lists. So how many subscribers were added today and yesterday, how many are currently subscribed and unsubscribed, and of course your grand total. Now, one other item that I think is important to note here is next to this list stats area, you're going to see this drop-down menu. In this drop-down menu, what it allows you to do is search for a particular name or email address that's on one of your lists. So it's not like you have to go to each list and search that information. You can actually search all lists directly right here on the Home tab. All right. And so scrolling right on through, we're at the Home tab, and we're just going to go and move over to Messages. Now, within the Messages tab, there's going to be a bunch of different options and different ways in which you can create your message. Where we're going to start is with Drafts. Drafts basically houses all of the messages that you have created in Aweber thus far that are not associated to a particular campaign or broadcast message that you might have sent. You'll see here that there's the green button to create a message. Now, this does have a drop-down menu, and you'll notice that within the Create a Message button, there's 3 different options, 3 different ways in which you can create your message. The first is the drag and drop email builder, and we're going to get into that because I think that the majority of our clients really like to use the drag and drop email builder. It's just a nice, clean way to create your message. Certainly, if you prefer to send plain text messages with no HTML, you have that option right here. And then if you're a little bit more advanced and you're familiar with HTML and CSS and you really want to code your own message, we have an HTML editor available to you as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the drag and drop email builder. So the first thing that you'll see here, and this is a previous template that I've used in the past, so that's why it's displaying with this template, but the first thing that you're going to see here at the top is going to be your subject line. So just for example's sake, I'm going to go ahead and give it a subject line. Now, one thing that's really important to note within this subject line area is that we do have this Personalize button. Now, what this Personalize button allows you to do is customize your subject line so that way you can add in additional information, such as, for example, your subscriber's first name. By selecting the first name personalization variable, you'll see that it really truly is simply a variable. The way that this works is that Aweber is able to pull the data that we have stored for your subscribers, such as their first name, and then when this message is sent to them, their first name would populate within the subject line. So, for example, if I'm sending a message to Sharon, I'm going to, when Sharon receives the email and I'm using the first name fixed personalization, it's going to read, Sharon, thank you. And thank you, Sharon. Now, in terms of templates, I know that that's something that a lot of people are going to want to look at today. Templates are really a great place to start, you know, when you're kind of figuring out how you want your message to look and include your branding and everything like that. Before we jump in, I'm going to show you the plain template, and I'm just going to click apply. The reason I want to show you the plain template, and this is center aligned, is just to give you an example of how you'd really build a message out if you don't want to use one of our custom templates. So you'll see here on the left-hand side, you have many different options, many different ways to customize your message. For example, I might want to add a headline to my message. So I'm simply going to click on the headline option and drag that right on top of my message. Next, you have the paragraph option, and that's going to be similar to this content here. What I will say is that Aweber, when you're dragging and you're dropping in different elements, we're going to give you the ability to sort of move these different items and different blocks around. But you'll see here, thanks for being a loyal email subscriber. We already put some text into that plain template just to show you that there's an option here for you to sort of customize. Additionally, you might want to add an article, which would include a headline, some text, and a read more link. Certainly, you know, if you're out there and you're in the news industry and you want to be providing articles about, you know, current day-to-day, what's going on, articles are a great place to start. And certainly, you know, everyone really likes to add images into their message. So you would simply just drag that image block right into your message. Now, within this image area, we actually offer over 6,000 free images for you to use, and you would use them by going to our image gallery. Now, within our image gallery, like I said, there's thousands of different photos that you can use, and additionally, you can actually browse them by category. So, for example, if I'm creating a message and I'm going to be talking about, let's say, smoothies, I can go ahead, search that, can go ahead, search that, select that image, and then it populates directly within my message. And then I find that, you know, maybe this image I want it actually above here, so I can go ahead and drag that around. Also, we do offer unlimited image hosting. So while you might not want to utilize some of our, you know, hosted images directly within Aweber, you are more than welcome to upload your own images. And like I said, it's 100% unlimited image hosting. So, you know, feel free to go crazy and upload all your images and your logos. Certainly, if you're in the process of rebranding, you know, you're allowed to go ahead and just upload those images directly within your account, and we'll store them for you too. So, you know, these are just a few examples of images that I've used in the past. Now, one thing to note sort of as you're getting started with your template and as you're implementing images in your message, I do want you to keep in mind that it really is an email best practice to have a 60-40 text to image ratio. So I know that you know, some clients like to be really image heavy, and I get that that could be, you know, really nice for aesthetics. But in terms of what ISPs and email clients are looking out for, you know, when they're viewing your message after it's sent, they're really looking for, for you to have content as well as images. So we have found that if you have a 60-40 text to image ratio, or at least 500 characters in your message, you shouldn't run into too much trouble there. But definitely something important to note, something to keep in mind as you're designing your message. Something else that's really fun and I've seen done quite often is also the coupon element. This is great if you're, running a brick and mortar store and you actually are trying to encourage your subscribers to, first sign up to your list, and then you want to provide them with a coupon to come back into your store. The thing that's nice about this is it's, again, a great way to kind of drive them back into your store, but this can also be customized as well. So all of this text that you're seeing here, you can go ahead and edit that. And I found that, maybe if you want to change the color to match, what you're already doing within your template, that's great as well. Now, within the template section, and I'm going to go back here because, again, this is really just a plain white template that I've sort of built on top of each other. But as I said, Aweber has hundreds and hundreds of wonderful templates that you can choose from. One of my favorites, actually, I'm going to show you, and I think I kind of showed you a little bit earlier, is this one right here. So once you click on your template, you just want to select the green apply button. And if you're following along at home, that's awesome. The thing that I really like about this template, and a lot of our templates, I mean, our template team, our design team, they go to work. I mean, they are truly amazing, constantly, working on new templates that are updated and, design friendly and just totally beautiful. But the thing that I love the most about this template is just really the aesthetics of it. So how clean it is, you can add your logo at the top, you have an image, and then you have the different articles here. And of course the click here button, the click here button you can actually customize so that you can drive them back to your website. And a question that I always get, especially when people are switching over from different email providers regarding templates is Aweber's templates mobile friendly or mobile responsive? Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the difference, mobile friendly is going to be a template that's going to squeeze to your screen. So it's going to fit to your screen, but maybe some things get kind of squeezed and maybe they don't look as nice. Whereas Aweber's templates, they are mobile responsive, meaning that when your message is sent, a subscriber opens it up on, let's say, for example, their iPhone, we might move a few things around just to make sure that it renders really, really nicely across that platform. So I see that a lot. I wouldn't really see that this much for this type of template just because it's, it's sort of one column, but I do see mobile responsive, the real advantages of mobile responsive, especially when you're using double columns, because sometimes they will actually go under each other so that way they render well. So, something to note, all of our templates are mobile responsive. If they're sent to your Android, to your iPhone, they're going to look awesome. So I'm going to go ahead, certainly I recommend that sort of as you get started with Aweber and you're playing around, spend some time within the drag and drop editor, familiarize yourself with some of these templates to determine what fits your needs. Some of these templates are actually, specific towards holidays, whereas others may not be. And I should also note that they do come in multiple different variations. So you'll see these, different color blocks at the bottom of your template. That's actually a way that you can kind of change the look, the colors behind them. So spend some time, play around. For time's sake, I'm not going to go through each and every part of this, but like I said, drag, drop it in, and get started. So moving right along here, I'm going to give you a good, like I promised, I want to show you all the different types of messages that Aweber has to offer. So we were just in drafts. Again, drafts is just sort of a hub for all of your messages. Now, the first option you're really going to see within messages in terms of how you're connecting with your subscribers is going to be the legacy follow-up series. So what the legacy follow-up series really speaks to is that when somebody comes to your website and they fill out a form, they're going to receive an autoresponder series, meaning that they fill it out, they click submit, and then they're going to get an email from you automatically. Now, typically in that first email, I recommend, of course, thanking them for subscribing, but it's also a great time to really set expectations with your subscribers. So for example, you might have a blog and you want to send out your blog once a week to these subscribers. Within your follow-up series, you can, write in your first message, thank you so much for subscribing to my blog. Within the next, weekly, you're going to be receiving messages from me. They're going to be in regards to, recipes and health tips and all that kind of fun stuff. And then you can kind of build it out from there. So, for example, just so I can show you what the follow-up series looks like, I'm going to go back to drafts. And I'm going to tell the system that I want to start creating a follow-up series, so add this message to my follow-up. And now I really want to build this series out. So once I have my first follow-up, you'll see within the legacy follow-up series, it goes out automatically. Now again, within the legacy follow-up series, this is going to be sent to everyone that subscribes to your list. And that's something that's going to be important to note as we kind of move on and talk about the different messages going forward. So once I start creating my legacy follow-up, now I'm going to go ahead and go back and craft another message. And so, for example, if this was my second message that I wanted to add to my follow-up, I'd simply just click Add to Follow-up Series. Now, because this is my second message, I'll now need to tell the system what interval to send that message. And that basically just refers to how many days after the previous message should I send this out. So let's put 3. And I'm going to add that to my follow-up series. Awesome. So you'll now see here that I have my first follow-up, thanking everybody for joining my list. And then I also have a second follow-up, and this follow-up is going to be sent 3 days after my thank you message. So this is definitely something fun and something that I recommend using, especially because it's one of those things that's really like set it and forget it. It's definitely perfect for evergreen content, educational, all of those things of that nature. And moving on, another type of message you can create within, like I said, the Messages tab is broadcasts. Now, broadcasts, you're probably going to use that most often for like time-sensitive newsletters, or maybe if you have a promotion coming up, you're going to be using broadcasts. The real advantage of broadcast messages is that you actually have a specific time and date in which you can schedule that message. So like I said, perfect for a promotion coming up, or if you really need to have control of when your subscribers receive content, broadcast messages are exactly where you want to do that in. Now, you'll see here that here are some of my recently sent broadcasts. And again, you're going to see the subject line, how many opens, how many clicks, how many bounces, and how many complaints. And you also see that in percentages as well. Now, one thing to note regarding bounces is that Aweber will actually take care of the bounces for you. We do have a rule in bounce handling, and the way that rule really works is that if a subscriber bounces, they will need to bounce 3 times consecutively over a 60-day time period in order to be unsubscribed. And with that rule, they actually need a week in between the first and the last bounce. So if you send a message every day, for example, it might take you a little bit, for those bounce rules to take effect. But the good thing to note about that is Aweber really does take care of that for you automatically. So, kind of going back to my initial point about Aweber, something that we're really, really known for is our deliverability. And we have very strong best practices, and we have different rules in place to protect you as an email sender. So you'll see that the way that we handle bounces is really just to prevent you from continuously bouncing, because that's not really something that you want to do as an email sender. So please know that we're going to take care of that for you. Certainly bounces happen. You really shouldn't see them consecutively unless like the email address doesn't exist, for example, or maybe it's no longer active. So you might get some bounces from time to time, and that's fine. We like to keep them lower, but they happen. Now, in terms of complaints, what we really mean by complaints is that somebody has marked your message as spam. And when that happens, Aweber, again, will actually automatically right away unsubscribe that subscriber from your list. And that is really, really important to note, because if somebody is marking your message as spam, you don't want that individual on your list, and you certainly don't want them to have the ability to mark your message again and again and again. So that's why Aweber, we really are here for you. We always are trying to protect the senders of our service. I mean, we understand that email marketing is key to your business, and so please know again that when somebody does mark that message as spam or they make a complaint, we take action right away, which is great, because then you don't have to worry about it, and it's awesome. So going into the sent message, you'll see here, like I said, just a snapshot of, the different stats. But if I actually click into the subject line of my message, and I have to update my from address, but hopefully I can just get around that for now, because I'm using I have to set up a new reply to address. Great, that is noted. One thing I should also note here, by the way, is that within Aweber, like I said from the beginning, and I'm sorry, I'm just going to switch back just one tab here. Like I said in the beginning of the presentation, there is you are able to have multiple different lists. However, you'll notice here that for my recently sent broadcast, I actually included my list. And so that is, really important to note that you have that functionality, just because there might be some times that you have subscribers across multiple different lists, but you want to send one message and include all of them in there. So if you do include other lists, please note, and this is a question that I get all the time, so this is good to note, if you are including multiple different lists, and let's just say, for example, a subscriber happens to be on 2 of your lists, they will only get the message once. So that's just a question that I get fairly often, hey, I'm including 5 different lists. Is my subscriber going to get 5 messages if they're subscribed to every single list? The answer is no, they're only going to get that message once, so have no fear there. Now going back to the messages tab, we were just in broadcast. We also offer a blog broadcast option. Now some of you might be familiar with the term RSS to email. That's exactly what blog broadcast really is. You would go ahead and click the green new blog broadcast button. And all you really have to do here is provide us with your RSS feed URL, and you can grab that directly off your blog. If you do ever need assistance with like locating your RSS feed or anything like that, like I said, I'll be here for you, and so will our 7-day-a-week customer support team. So if you're not familiar with how to get your RSS, have no fear, we can find it for you. And then in terms of really getting this set up, all you would simply need to do is actually just select a template. Now, I'm kind of a big fan of this Bigfoot template. I'm just going to go ahead and load that in. There's tons of different templates here, and you can certainly build them out and customize them. But for the sake of time, we're going to select the Bigfoot blue and light blue template. And you'll see now that there's all these different variables within this template. Now, what these variables are really doing, and they're similar to kind of the thought about the personalization variables that I went into a little earlier. What these variables actually do is they speak directly to your RSS feed. So, for example, in this case, we have RSS item title as the subject. And basically what that's going to do is that it's going to provide the title of your recent blog post. And right here, RSS item description, all these variables work in, similar ways, but with the RSS item description, that's going to provide a description of your recent blog post, so maybe a few sentences, and then of course there's going to be a read more link. And I happen to really like having the description with the read more link, just because with the description it gives them a better idea of like what that blog post was about, and then the read more link drives them back to your website. Now, just so you know, in case you're ever interested, you are welcome to change this description tag to content, so it would read RSS item content. What that's actually going to do is it's going to pull the full content of your blog post. So if you actually prefer to have the full content, that's totally fine. You have that ability. Or you could simply just leave the description with the read more link. Now, once I really get this set up and I provide Aweber with my RSS feed URL, really it's kind of all set up. The only thing I have to do is scroll to the bottom and select how often I want to send this message. So for example, let's just say I know a lot of my blog readers, they like to read my blog in the morning over coffee. So I might select my send time to be at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. In addition, I can actually tell how many new items that I want to send at a time. Now, these will be like truncated. So, for example, if I wanted to send a message every 3 new posts, I would change this number to 3. And again, really what that does is it's going to put my 3 most recent posts within one message. Now, I also have the ability to select if I want to send this on a specific day. In this case, I just wanted to go out when every of new items is 3. But if I know that, let's say, for example, I blog quite often, and really what I want to do instead is send them a message every Friday with pretty much everything that I've blogged about that week. So that's how I would go ahead and do that. And you can also send this out automatically. So again, this is similar to, the follow-up series where it's kind of like set it and forget it. Once you send it automatically, you'll never have to come back in and schedule any messages. You just select send automatically and it'll go out based on the options that you just selected. And then, of course, there's social media integrations. I know, there were some questions regarding social media, and I'll get into the integrations in a little bit so we can dive into that a little further. But what you're seeing here is actually the option to post this message to either my Twitter or my Facebook page. So when you send out a broadcast message or a blog broadcast, if you do select that you want that option, we're just going to basically create a post for you on Facebook and send it out. And that's actually another great way, I should add, to grow your list. I mean, if you're really big on Facebook and you have a ton of followers and you're really engaged with it, there's a good chance that there might be some people on your Facebook page that aren't necessarily on your email list. So by sharing your broadcast to Facebook, it kind of keeps them up to date with what you have going on. And then, of course, they'll also have the option to subscribe to your list as well once they click on that post. So, definitely something worth considering. And you'll have that option, for each message. So, if there's times that you want to share it or there's times that you don't, you definitely have that ability. And last but not least, I'm going to discuss campaigns with you. So we went over legacy follow-up and how those work, broadcast, blog broadcasts, and now we're going to go into campaigns. I should also add, and you're probably noting that there's the email template manager option. We're not really going to go into that, but at a very high level, what the email template manager option does is it really gives, if you're familiar with HTML and CSS, that's a great place to kind of get started if you're creating your own template, or even if you're taking one of our templates and customizing that up a little bit. So that's more for people that are like designers and that really want to get their hands dirty with the HTML. But for today, we're going to go ahead and jump right into campaigns. Now, what we're really excited about campaigns for is that now it's a little bit different than follow-up series, because with campaigns, you can now have multiple campaigns running from one list. So as you might have remembered, with the legacy follow-up, that's a series that goes out to your entire list once they subscribe. The advantage of campaigns is now you can actually send more targeted messages to your list based on specific actions. So in my campaigns example here, I am going to be using the example of having a blog. So I have a blog where I provide lots of healthy recipes and talk about, healthy, clean eating. And then I also have health tips, health and wellness tips too, that are more catered to like exercising and things like that. What I can do is I can actually create two forms that I would place on different areas of my site depending on, what specific topic I'm covering. And each sign-up form can have its own unique tag. Now, where this comes into campaigns is right here. And we're just going to go into campaigns so I can show you how awesome and easy this is to use. Excuse me, I just had to have a sip of water. Okay, so moving right along. When you're creating a campaign, you first must tell us how you want to trigger that campaign. So for example, you can trigger it as on subscribe, meaning when somebody subscribes to your list, or you can trigger this campaign based on a tag. And actually what I really should do is create one from scratch, example, so that way you can get a really clean idea of what this looks like. So I have these two triggers here. I have it either on subscribe or when tag is applied. Now in this case, I'm going to be using when tag is applied. And as I stated previously on my website, I have two different forms. I have one area that I'm talking about my recipes and my health food tips, whereas the other, I have more fitness information. So my tag in this case is going to be health. So if anybody fills out a form where the tag is health, they're going to get this particular campaign. And as you can see here, again, similar to the drag and drop editor, you can actually go ahead and go through these actions. And the first thing I want to do is send a message. So I tell the system, okay, I am going to send a message, and I'm just going to choose one from what we just created. So day one, get your diet started today. And then I also want to include a wait. Now, with the wait time, you actually have a lot of different options. Similar to the follow-up series, I can tell the system to, send it at a specific day interval, or with campaigns, I can actually schedule if I want to send the message a few minutes after, a few hours, a few weeks, or a few months. Now, in my case, this campaign is actually going to be for, people that I'm providing health information and diets to, and maybe this is a guide where I want to send them a message every single day for 3 days, as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that at 1 day after the previous, and I'm going to go ahead and send my next message. You'll see here, this really outlines every single step within your campaign. So it's pretty straightforward. You know that this campaign is going to be started when that tag is applied. They get my first message, they wait a day, and then they get my second message, which I'm going to select right here. Awesome. So I would go ahead and I would build out this campaign, and I would build a separate campaign in a similar fashion, but I would change the trigger to be on the other tag. So maybe that's the recipe tag. Now basically what I have is two campaigns running that are respective to each tag that's on the form of my site. Once I'm done sharing that campaign, and in this case it's a guide. So after I run my guide and my campaign, I then want to add a tag at the end. Now this tag at the end is going to say, for example, complete. And now I know that anyone who has the tag complete has now completed this series. What I want to do is I'd want to go back to my other campaign, and at the end of it, also apply the tag complete. Last but not least, what I could then do is create a whole separate campaign, completed campaign 1 and 2. Okay? Now, this campaign is really for anyone that went through either of my other two campaigns. So whether they came in through the recipes tag and form, or they came through the health and wellness form with that tag, this is for anyone that went through that entire series. And now I want to filter them back all into one series. So I'd go ahead, tell the system, all right, if anyone has the tag complete, meaning that they completed my two campaigns, I now want to send a campaign just to those individuals. So that's really just one way you can use campaigns. Certainly you can get more advanced or less advanced, or just have one campaign running. Really, the sky's the limit, but I just kind of wanted to give you an example of sort of what that looks like and how fun and easy that is to use. Moving right along, we're going to move over to the subscribers tab, and you'll see here there's a few different options. What I'd really like to show within the Manage Subscribers tab is this is really where you would go to see all of the different email addresses that are on your list. And something that I see a lot of success with is actually segmenting the list. So for example, I could segment my list based on message opened. And let's say I want to know if they opened this message, and click search. Great. So I have 6 subscribers that now fit this search. What I can do is message opened. What I can do now is save that as a segment. And if I'd like, I can then send a broadcast message just to that particular segment. So I see this very, very often. It's a great way to really connect with your audience. Especially I see if there's a time-sensitive promotion and you send your promotion out, and then maybe a few hours before the promotion's over, you can resend that message to people that did not open the message. That's a great example use case as well. So lots of fun things here. You can do it based on link clicked, not clicked, and also any custom fields that you might have collected. So maybe within your industry, if you're in health and fitness, for example, maybe one point of data that you'd want to collect is their gender, because you know that providing exercise tips from male to female might be different. So if you have that custom field and you have that data in Aweber, you're also able to segment based on that as well. Now going right under the subscribers tab again, you'll see the add subscribers option. Here you can actually add subscribers one at a time. So maybe if a colleague contacts you and says, hey, I really want to hear, I know you have a blog, I know I can sign up for it, but do you mind just quickly adding me? Here's where you would come to do so right there. You can manually add up to 10. Or if you're switching email providers, you might have a list that's larger than 10 subscribers, you would come into this import area. And you'll see within the import area, you can actually import subscribers based on like a CSV or an XLS or a TXT file. So you can certainly go ahead and just click on browse and get that imported right in. Or you can also copy and paste if that makes the most sense. Now, on the second step of the import process, you're going to be able to map subscriber info. So let's say, for example, you have a CSV with the subscriber's name, email address, and their favorite color. On the second step of the import process, you're going to be able to tell the system what those data points add up to. Where should they be placed within the subscriber's information. And then last but not least, you're also going to see your import history within the subscribers tab. Now, the import history is really going to give you a good idea of sort of, have you done any recent imports, when, etc. And of course, you can go ahead and add subscribers right from that area as well. Now, going into sign-up forms just a little bit here, you'll see that you are able to create as many forms as you possibly can within Aweber. I mean, again, the sky's the limit, unlimited sign-up form creation. Within this option, you're going to have many different customizable options and templates to choose from. Similar to how our other templates work, you can actually have different categories. So, if I select blog, I can have this fun, animated, sign up form to choose from. And kind of going back to the tags, which I was showing you with campaigns, this is where you would go ahead and assign a tag to your form. So that way you could have multiple different forms on your site, each that are going to be respective to a specific campaign. You also have the settings of your form. So within the thank you page, you can actually redirect them to like a custom page, get them back on your website. And also when you're going to publish, and I just have to save my form here, once I publish, I can actually get the JavaScript or the HTML of my form, so that way I can copy and paste that right onto my site. Or if you're working with a web designer, you have the option to email them directly. And alternatively, we also will host the form for you. This is going to be a direct link to the form that we just created. So a few ways that you could use this direct link is simply if you don't have a website but you want to start collecting subscribers, you can drive them to that URL. Or I've seen it done, in some fun ways within the message. For example, if a message is forwarded to you, you could have something at the bottom that says, hey, was this message forwarded to you? Click here to subscribe. And that would be a great use case for this particular URL. We also have this reports section here. Now the settings we're not going to go into further. That speaks to like sales tracking, and that's a little bit more advanced. So for the sake of time today, I'm not going to touch on that. But like I said, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Elisa Z, again, that's ELYSAZ at aweber.com. But let's go ahead and go right into the reports. Now, the reports here, you're going to see that you have tons of different options. Again, for the sake of time, we're just going to check out opens over time and really what that looks like. So you'll see here, this is going to be the number of opens I have received in the past 30 days for all of my lists. So you'll see these are the number of broadcasts I sent and how many unique and total were opened. Clicks works in the same way as well. And I should also point out that these particular reports I just shared with you, these are account-wide. So they're across all of the lists within your account. However, if you want to see, how many for this particular list that I'm in, how many weekly new subscribers I have, this would be a great place to come. So you'll see here it kind of goes through and it tells me how many subscribers were added each week. You also see the list options area. The number one thing I want to focus on within the list options area is really, this is where you would come to change any basic information about your list. So your from email address, this is where you would go to change where your messages appear to be coming from. In this case, my address is patrick@mindsetpassionwealth.com. And also I can give it a description. Within the list options tab, you kind of go through all these different options on the left-hand side. So right now we're in the basic settings. I can then personalize my list, and this is where I can go and connect with the different social media platforms I'm on, and also confirmed opt-in. So I promised you in the beginning of this demo, we were going to talk a little bit about confirmation opt-in. Within Aweber, you actually have the ability to tell us if you do or do not want to send the confirmation opt-in message. Now, within this section, this is where I would go to customize my confirmation message. But it's also where I would go to determine, do I want to send confirmation opt-in if someone's subscribing to my web form or if I'm importing. So this is a great place to go for turning off confirmed opt-in, or if I want it, don't want it, no worries, this is where I would come. But I also should point out that when you are doing the imports, we understand that, you might have forgot to come back to the list settings area, not a problem. When you're importing, certainly we're going to give you the option within the last stage of the import process. We're going to say to you, do you want to send the confirmation opt-in message? And certainly at that point, you could say yes, or you could say no. Now there's a few different other options here within the list settings tab. The final option, list automation and email parsers, I'm going to go into list automation for you just so you can get a good idea of what that looks like. With automation rules, you can actually move subscribers, sort of off different lists if it makes sense. So for example, I might have a prospect list and a customers list. If I want to unsubscribe people from my prospect list when they subscribe to my client list, this is where I would go and set that up. So unsubscribe from, example, prospect list when they subscribe to my active contacts list. And I would go ahead and save that automation rule. And also custom fields as well. I kind of skipped over that one, but just to give you a good idea of what that looks like, this is where you would go to create all the different custom fields, the information that you want to collect about your Aweber subscribers. So, I gave the example of their interest earlier, or their favorite color, or their gender. You can certainly go ahead and, set that up here. And finally, the My Apps section. This is one of my favorite areas within Aweber because what this allows you to do is integrate third-party tools that you're already using directly within Aweber. So for example, I have PayPal and I am selling my ebook with all my recipes and all my health information. I'm selling that ebook on my website and it's sold via PayPal. With this integration, when somebody makes a purchase from me from PayPal, I can integrate that with Aweber, so after the purchase is made, they get added to a respective email list. And the fun thing about PayPal is you can actually tell us if somebody makes a specific purchase, add them to a specific list. So if you're selling multiple different products, that would be a great solution for you, so that way you can really cater to them. You'll see here we have, tons and tons and tons of different integrations. Opt-in Monster, Lead Pages, Eventbrite. If you do events and someone's attending your event, and you want to connect with them after the event is completed, Eventbrite is absolutely awesome, and I've had tons of success with that. Also, Shopify. And Zapier I should also, touch on as well. That is basically a hub for integrations. So, if you're going through and you're seeing that maybe something that you're not currently using is on this dashboard, and like I said, there's tons and tons. I'm still scrolling. But if for any reason you see something or you are working with a platform that's not already available to you within this Aweber account, have no fear. Zapier is here. Great hub for integrations. Really, anytime that I feel like, if I'm looking for something that's just not available to me, I always check Zapier. That's Zapier, and they have tons of different integrations with Aweber. So as you're really getting started with email marketing, this might be something that you've never really done before. No worries. We are here for you. We have 7-day-a-week support. I am here for you. But, definitely keep integrations in mind, because it's a great way to connect with what you're already doing and plugging that right into in your Aweber account. So just wrapping on up here, and I do see that there's a couple questions coming in. You might have some questions regarding pricing. The way that our pricing works is going to be based off of how many subscribers are stored within your Aweber account. So this is just a good snapshot of what our pricing looks like. Now, what I will say is we offer a 30-day free trial, absolutely free. And certainly I do recommend, if you're not already an Aweber customer, give Aweber a shot for 30 days. There's no strings attached. You're going to get all the features and everything that I just mentioned to you in this presentation right there within your 30 days. And the thing that I love about that is, like, 30 days is a great time frame in which you would come in, kind of check it out, make sure that it works for you, and certainly I recommend that within those 30 days, call myself, call our support team. Like I said, they are fabulous. They can answer any questions. If you simply don't know where to get started at all, no worries. We have that 7-day-a-week support team, so please, please, please utilize them. We are here for you. And there we are, our customer support team. I got a little ahead of myself, but like I said, we're available 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, by phone, chat, and email. And then on the weekends, we provide support 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Saturday and Sunday, and that's by live chat and email. So if you have a quick question, you want to get on there, please, like I said, no question is too small, too big. We will find the solution for you. We want to work with you. We want to help you out through this journey. So please don't hesitate to contact our support. Let us know how you and I can work together, or our team and you can work together, to really get started. So are you ready to get started? I am. That's awesome. I'm answering myself here. But yes, please, like I said, if you are ready to get started, we are extremely happy in any way we can to be here for you. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me directly, or our CS team, whatever you prefer. My email address is alisaz@aweber.com. My Skype is aweber.alisa. I don't have it on this page, but my Twitter handle is Elisa, that's ELYSA, Zeitz, Z as in zebra, EITZ. That's my Twitter handle if you want to reach out to me that way. But certainly, like I said, have fun with email marketing. I mean, there's so much that you can do, so many different ways that you can get started, different types of messages. Have fun with your sign-up forms. Have fun with templates. And two, if you do decide you want to get started with your 30-day trial, that's awesome. I would encourage you to use the link that's currently on your screen, http://alisa.aweber.com. That's just really how we like to track our webinars. Kind of lets me know how I'm doing, but also what it does is I'll get an email that will let me know that you signed up, and that way we can just connect with each other directly. I really want to help you through the journey. Like I said, I've been with Aweber for over 4 years now, and I work with a lot of our senders, so any tips or tricks or resources I can provide, I'm more than happy to do so. So just keep that in mind. And let me see here. I know we had a few questions rolling in. Let me just, Eric from Atlanta, I'm just seeing it now. Thank you. Ken from Minnesota. Marilyn from Springfield. Wow, this is so awesome. Windsor, Canada. Shout out to John. Thank you so much for coming. Wow, we have Mexico in the house. This is amazing. Michelle from West Virginia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lamar from the Bahamas. This is so awesome. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining me today. I do have a question here, and I know we're running out of time. If I don't get to your questions, I'm happy to reach out directly. But what I can say is that there is a question regarding using custom templates that might have already been created and moving them into Aweber. That's actually something that's definitely doable within the email template manager. If you have the code of that template already, you can just go ahead and bring that right into Aweber via the template manager area. So that's awesome. I hope that answers your questions. Clifford, I know you had some questions regarding adding images into your emails and deliverability. Like I said, the 60-40 text to image ratio, something great to keep in mind. 500 characters at least within your message. As long as you follow that 60-40 text to image ratio or 500 characters, there really shouldn't be any concerns in terms of what that's going to look like for your deliverability. So great question there, Clifford. Thank you so much for that. And Jen, I know you also had a question regarding resizing your images. Yes, absolutely, you can do that. There's a drag and drop functionality right there within the template. So I hope I can answer everybody's question here. I see that there's tons coming in. We're a little out of time here, but I'm more than happy to reach out to everyone and answer your questions. If for any reason I don't reach out to you or whatever it is, or you just want to chat more about this, please, like I said, do not hesitate to reach out to me. ElisaZ@aweber.com. That's a great way to reach me. I'm happy to try to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And like I said, if you're going to get started with your free 30-day trial, please use my link at elisa.aweber.com. That way I'll be notified and we can start working together on your email marketing. So thank you so much for everyone for joining in. It really was a pleasure. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to get to all of your questions, but I hope that I was able to at least answer some of them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've been an amazing audience, and stay tuned. Certainly, we have so many things in the works. I encourage you to stay up to date with our blog. We also have multiple iPhone and Android apps that are Atom, Curate, and the Aweber Stats app. I wasn't able to touch on them, but please stay tuned with us. Reach out to me directly. Thank you so much, everyone. I had so much fun today. We'll be doing another one of these webinars, I believe in 2 weeks from now, but certainly if anything comes up before then, reach out. You guys are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I'm looking forward to working with every single one of you. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day.